So I'm just gonna go ahead and knock this video out real quick. So why am I the way that I am? Unfortunately, a lot of people tend to think that I'm this real angry guy. And I was actually having a conversation with one of the people who come get readings from me. But you know, me and this person are actually friends, even when there's no kind of money being exchanged. Because this person was a longtime supporter of me and my channel. And I really want to go ahead and appreciate, you know what I mean? Take the time out to appreciate that person. She knows who she is. But the reason why it is that it seems like I'm so upset, and see, this is the very same thing that I've been trying to say over and over and over and over and over and over again. But people try to conflate things because of their own twisted perception. They really don't live in the real world. And trust me, that video is coming. What it is I'm talking about, all this stuff is going to make sense. Just roll with me. If you notice it, I'm putting the pieces together slowly but surely, because I want to build this thing correctly. So a lot of people tend to have this misconception that I'm this angry individual. That's not necessarily true. That's not true. What it is the way that people move on social media is really, 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 really goofy. A lot of people tend to do a lot of disrespectful, dumbfounded, goofy, counterintuitive, unastute things. And what I mean by that is, ultimately what I wanted to do is, when I found out this piece of information back since 2020, right? The beginning of 2020, right? Just before the, issue that we have popped off, I was actually studying, right? My instincts told me something told me, AKA my instincts was like, yo, you need to go ahead and learn how to control your money, your cash flow. I did that. This was late January, early March. Pandemic didn't really start popping off until mid to late March. So at that point, I had the knowledge. I was already on the phone investing, right? Making my first investments in assets. And over the course of time, I've been trying to teach people, if you've been paying attention, how to set up their own stuff and prosper, set up their own estates and prosper. I've been getting all this pushback from either people who've been wasting their time trying to bicker and argue. I decided to essentially not bicker and argue. It was a waste of my time, complete waste of my time. Either that, or every time I try to talk to people about investments, right, and I tell them, and I ask them, would you like to be rich, financially free, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, they've either tried to figure out a way to weasel their way out of it and be like, oh, well, I just want to be financially free. Okay, being rich is financially free. What are we talking about? It's the same thing. You don't necessarily have to be like stinking rich like a Jeff Bezos or a Elon Musk or something like that. But being rich is financially free. In essence, that's what it is. When I tell y'all that I've had issues with dumb individuals, it's been either that or people who want me to teach them, but then when I go, okay, give me $200, they think it's a joke. Now, I've been on YouTube since 2015. As y'all know, for the people who've known me, rock with me all this time, I've never scammed anybody within the 7 years. And anytime I say I'm going to do something, that's what it is that I'm going to do. And I've always been consistent. I've always been consistent. This is why I take tarot reading and the channel here seriously to a certain extent. Not too seriously, right? To the point where it becomes crazy for me. But seriously enough to where this is a business to me. And I never wanted to disrespect any of y'all. That's the reason why there's a level of seriousness to me. But a lot of people do not know how to think correctly. And the thing is, it shows itself because so many people are interested in drama on YouTube. They're more interested in what people who have scammed them is doing, trying to bring them down. You know what I mean? Entertainment too much to the point where, they put all their time, money, and effort into people who entertain them, but don't actually give back anything that has substance. And when it comes to me, I want to provide quality in quantity. And I've done that. I have thousands of videos collectively that I've made just being here on YouTube, period. Thousands. Collectively, I'm talking about all the videos that I've ever made for YouTube, right? And uploaded it on YouTube. And the thing is, when I tell people about this type of stuff, try to help them help themselves. Like I said, they either try to bicker and argue and try to debunk what it is I'm saying. This and the third. Why are you trying to debunk something that will help you out? Or they'll get scared and like tuck it up underneath the rug, right? Sweep it up underneath the rug and won't say anything about it and ignore it like that never happened. What are you doing? And this is very disturbing. And this is the reason why it is that I'm like, look, or it seems like I'm angry with y'all, because it's not that I'm angry. What it is the level of stupidity that not all, but some people exhibit is insane. How can you sit there when someone is asking you, would you like this opportunity? This is a real opportunity. The person's not going to scam you here. I'm going to build my reputation up 7 coming up on 10 years to go ahead and scam people now so that I can create a terrible reputation to not be able to get money online, show my face. Y'all know what it is that I look like. If I was to continue to get big, someone on the streets will say, hey, aren't you Kareemspiritworks? But again, this is the level of stupidity that I'm talking about. Why don't, and this is what it is I was telling my friend, why don't people understand simplistic concepts? Because with this whole thing, you have so many people who are interested in coming to me and wanting to find out about BS that ultimately you should already know about. And literally, you can go ahead and ask this person. And if this person is watching the video, they'll know what I'm talking about. They don't necessarily have to leave a comment, right? Trying to protect the person. But they will know what it is that I'm talking about. Why don't you know that if the person kicks you down a flight of stairs, that you should leave this person alone? If a person is making it confusing to be in a relationship with them, there is no exception to that rule or to this law. Leave them alone. And yet, for some odd reason, people tend to think that they need someone who is a reader to tell them that. And then when I say, listen, this is downstairs, there's so many things that we could literally be talking about. Let's talk about making some money legally. Nope. People want to talk about relationships. Why the person who's treating them like pure garbage gives them a hard time if they so much as ask the person whom they are living with, who they're supposed to be in a functional relationship with, why that person will go upside their head, unfortunately. And just because you ask these people to wash the dishes. And what does that mean? If the person slaps you in your face, regardless of whoever it is, what does that mean? It means you shouldn't be with that person. It means you shouldn't be with that person. That's what it means. And this is how it is that I know that a lot of people tend to have a very twisted perception. It's the fact that not only can people not figure that out for themselves, but if you've been paying attention to me, if you've been paying attention, if you live in the real world, and what do I mean when I say live in the real world? What do I mean? What did Morpheus tell Neo in the Matrix? What Morpheus told Neo in the Matrix is living in the real world, meaning if your reality wasn't twisted, you would understand that I am actually in your favor, meaning on your side, in your corner. Now, riddle me this. And this is how it is that I know. I ain't going to necessarily say riddle me this, but I'll say this is how it is that I know that a lot of people tend to have conflated or messed up or twisted perception. Sorry, my eye itching. People need a leader in order to teach them decency. It's like if someone kicks you down a flight of stairs intentionally, you don't have enough self-respect and self-decency and common sense to understand, I can't hang out with this person anymore. And see, this is why, people like to take it out on me. Because like I said before, I have 1,400 subs. I don't get a lot of customers. And because people tend to have a very sour taste in their mouth, not all the time, but sometimes, because, they think that I'm this angry guy or whatnot, or whatever the case may be. No, the reality of the situation is you got to get your stuff together. The truth is you're blaming me for the fact that you're not mentally competent and you're mentally lazy. That's the truth. You want to be disingenuous, some of y'all. So, those people who do that in particular, because let me make it accurate. Let me be more accurate. The people who do that want to be disingenuous. The people who do that in particular, right? I'm talking about those types of people who do that type of stuff. They want to be disingenuous. They want to be lazy. And that laziness is really costing them. Because the truth is, I have so much information and stuff that I want people to have. But people are so interested, right, in being so emotionally triggered by the things that I say, stuff like this, and the way that I say it, and the fact that I chastise y'all. Yes, I chastise y'all to a certain extent. You know why? Because this is downstairs. I would have already, I literally have told this person this. She knows what it is I'm talking about. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And I don't have wings around this mug. Okay? I literally told this person, I literally think that y'all would be wiser than this at one point. Like, I would have thought y'all would have understood if you hanging out with somebody who will go upside your head, it would be, you would be, if you hang out with somebody where it's confusing to be in a relationship with this person, I would have literally thought you would have went ahead and stopped hanging out with that person. I would have thought that, right? That's why it is that I'm like, wow. So when I sit back, I'm like, wow, these people kind of really need leaders to tell them how to have common sense. Like, wow, this is kind of crazy type stuff. So the situation with that, and I got to get out of here, is I have so much information to teach y'all. But the thing is that unfortunately, due to people's, I guess, emotionalism, they don't want to come through, get anything. And you know what I'm saying? And due to that, or whatever the case may be, is stuff like this, right? Trying to show me I'm not going to support anybody who talks to me like this, because a lot of people are emotional. People are still quite downstairs with it. A lot of people are so interested in the emotionalism and the BS. You more interested in, why won't this significant other, I'm looking out the window, why won't this significant, it's a rainy day today, but why won't this significant other or this person do what it is that I want them to do? And you should be past that, because just like I said before, I'm expecting you to figure it out for yourself. You should already know this. And what I'm trying to put people on game is how to be royalty. So what's the difference between being homeless, an apartment, a house, and a castle? What's the difference? What's the difference between poor, middle class, rich, and royalty type rich? What's the difference? I know the answers to those things. I do. I know the answers to those things. And oftentimes people will be like, well, you just capping. If you know the answer to those things, then why is it that you're not rich yourself? Because it takes generations. If I just found out this information back in 2020 and I was 28, excuse me, going on 29, and it takes generations, and I started with me, my generation, with me, and it takes generations, it means more than likely I am not going to live to see that day. I am going to have to adopt and then pass the information on, and then have them continue the great work. But again, this is what it is that I'm trying to talk about when I say there's a lot of real, like, mental illness. There's a lot of downstairs stuff that goes on. There's real downstairs, and it's kind of embarrassing to a certain extent, right? But I know the answer to those questions that I was asking y'all. What's the difference between da 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 da? And I want to get past all the silly, dumb stuff and put y'all on to the real deal stuff. Y'all want relationships? This is how y'all set relationships up. But again, it takes a degree of honesty, and a lot of people are just not ready for that right now. So if anybody who wants to know those answers, hit me up privately, because I'm not going to tell y'all for free. No, because people are not going to respect it. You will have people who will threaten my life and imply violence and stuff like this, for what? Charging them $70. Even though they were coming at me, first time ever meeting them, disrespectfully already from the jump. This is where people's mentality is. So no, I'm not going to put it out here on camera. It's only reserved for people who ultimately want to learn. And yes, you're going to have to pay a fee. because I am practicing it myself. It's working. I have witnesses to it. Other people are are benefiting from it. Okay, families benefiting from it. I'm not going to put them on camera. You don't need to know all that because it's the truth. Family members are benefiting from it, and they are quite happy with the results. So, and yes, you will have to pay for it because it's called buying in. Yes, you would have to buy into this type of stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you'd like to contact me for that type of information, like I said before, the fee is $200. If not, it is what it is. Continue to talk about relationships.